Hello, this is the Animation Fanatic, back again, and ready to review something different once again. This time, I'm reviewing a book. Actually, I'll be reviewing three books. There are three books I've read very recently. Three very different books, and two very good ones, and one that I'm going to get to right now, which is Patricia Cornwell's The Hornet's Nest. This book. This book. I can't really say if this is a bad book, but I'll get into that in just a second. There was a lot in this book I didn't like. There was a lot in this book that annoyed me. But my gosh, I had to finish it. Because the way I can describe this book is it's like a car wreck, or something on fire, or just something a bad movie. You know, you see it, and you know you should look away, but you just can't stop looking. Yeah, it's like a bad movie. A bad movie I saw called The Invasion, which was, oh my gosh, it was an awful movie, but I could not stop watching it. It was, is this really happening? Are people really throwing up in each other's mouths? That's another review. But anyway, I haven't read very much of Patricia Cornwell, and when I say I haven't read very much, I mean I haven't read anything of hers. I listened to a book on tape, a little bit of hers, which was a Kay Scarpetta novel, which was fine. I actually thought this was a Kay Scarpetta novel until I got part of the way through, and well, not part of the way through, until like the third page, and I was like, oh wait, this is not Scarpetta. It would have said so. But that aside, I said, okay, you know, James Patterson's written a lot of things that are good that have nothing to do with Alex Cross. So I dove into this. If I could describe a plot for this is a really basic. It's about this reporter called Andy Brazil, who's don't ask me about the name, I don't know. Who's also a volunteer police officer. He gets permission to ride along with, I think, one of the chief detectives. Her name is not Pittman. Yeah, it's been a couple days. I forgot everyone. Jeez, can't remember his name. Her name. I'm sorry. I'm looking everywhere for this. Oh, West, Detective West. And she's one of the chief detectives, and he gets permission to sort of ride along with her, look at crime, write about it. You know, it's a in-depth reporting there, and that's part of the story, and a lot of that is what they see and what they do, and also their relationship with each other. There's also a big subplot of the chief of police, Hammer, her life, just her basic story, because she's got marital problems with her husband. She's got not diet issues. She's just kind of obsessed. She's got to deal with like the politics of this city, of the policing. There's also a serial killer in this. There's a serial killer who's killing people, like killing guys, like, and spray painting. I won't get into details of what exactly he's doing, but he's a serial killer who's murdering these men who come on business. There's a lot of petty politics. There's a redneck who gets mad at Andy Brazil. There's violence, there's crime, there's all kinds of things happening, and it's all being thrown at you, and that's just what I didn't like about this. Like, everything's being thrown at you. There's like this thing and that thing and these things, and this person has issues, and this person is doing this, and this, everything is being tossed at you. And then there's like there's this brief little portion in here where it's just talking about this guy who keeps a banana in his pocket so he can eat it later, and there's just this useless conversation of him arguing with his friends, and West thinks that they're talking about drugs, and she like sets up this whole sting to corner them, and it turns out she was just being a bitch, and you know, it wasn't anything real, and like some of her detectives are stupid, which is actually funny, and the characters in this, my gosh. Hammer was likable. I liked Hammer. She was a strong woman. She wasn't perfect. She wasn't a saint. But my gosh, she tried. She tries to hold herself together. She doesn't always make the right decisions. You know, she doesn't quite do everything she could have with her husband. She was a little too hard on him, I think. But she does her darndest in this, and at the end, she's kind of the one who ends up being the voice of reason. She talks to the owner of U.S. Bank, Solomon. I forget his name. I forget his full name, but she talks to him, and he understands and makes him understand about policing. She's committed to her city. She's committed to doing the right thing, and I admired her throughout this book. I think she was one of the few really likable characters in here. As well as actually the Solomon guy, who's kind of a jerk throughout most of the book until the end, where he like realizes, I've got to. It could have been one of my kids who got killed. I've got to help people out there because one of his employees gets killed, and he's like, I've got to do something. I've got to beat change here. But my gosh, Brazil is just a whiny little. Hated him. He spent like half the book whining. This thing's going wrong. I don't like this thing. I'm stressed. This is wrong. This is bad. I want to catch this guy. When he said I want to catch this guy, I just wanted to slap him. It's like, shut up. He just acted it so, and he got mad at people. He was being a jerk. He just was such a whiny bitch in this. And West was no better. She was a jerk. She was a jerk. She spends half the book being a jerk. Just a complete jerk for no reason. Actually, almost everyone in this book, except for Hammer, everyone in this book is a jerk, a whiny bitch, a homophobe, a sexist, a racist. Everybody in this book is. This is the reason it's called the Hornet's Nest. I mean, my gosh, I've never been to Charlotte. I don't know many people from North Carolina or from Charlotte. I'll admit that. But my gosh, nobody from there should be happy about this. This makes the city sound horrible. It's full of rednecks and jerks and morons and homophobes, and that's the impression I got from this book. That's the impression I got, and I'm sure anyone from Charlotte is not happy about that. But yeah, when anyone wasn't acting like a total jackass, they weren't doing anything at all. Yeah, so like I said, most of the book was riding around Brazil and West, trying to figure out life, riding around, being jerks, trying to fight crime, doing things, responding to different calls. There's a lot of cutaway into different characters in here. A lot of stuff like that. I'm sorry if I can't describe this book's plot very well to you, because it was all over the place. The only basic plot there was just focusing on these three main characters and just how they're doing over this period of time. I don't know if there's a sequel or not. Maybe there's more of them, but I'd like to see if it was improved upon. But my gosh, I can't believe this book managed to make me not like the main character. That's just incredible to me. You might think I hated this book. I didn't. Like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, I guess, and this is not turning me off to Patricia Cornwell. I'm perfectly happy to go and keep trying her, but my gosh, this book was... If you're one of those people who, doesn't like conflict when it affects you, but is kind of okay to hear, like, oh, those people are fighting over there, let's hear what they're fighting about, this is the book for you. This is the right kind of book for you. If that's not you, don't read this. But if you like to kind of like, oh, those people are fighting about something, let's go hear that, then read this book. That's all I can say about it. It was such a mess, and everyone was just being nasty to each other. It was like Patricia Cornwell went to her producer and said, "Hey, I got this book. It's about a reporter, but he's a police officer, and he's with another police officer, and there's sexual tension, but they never get together, and there's all the kinds of things happening, and there's a serial killer, and there's a redneck, and a guy with a banana in his pocket, and everyone's always yelling and mad at each other, and there's homophobes and racists, and I hate Charlotte, North Carolina." Patricia, did you put any effort into this? No, I just got high. It's good enough for print. No offense to Patricia Cornwell. I'm sure she's a great person. It seems like somebody got high writing this. I digress. Patricia Cornwell, if you're out there and you're listening, I'm sorry. Anyway, that was Hornet's Nest. So next, I'm gonna review something a little bit better. Bye.